Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey into a stack of stories that, well, they defy explanation, they chill you to the bone, and they definitely linger long after you hear them. We've got a collection of personal accounts here, pretty raw and unfiltered. They touch on encounters with the unknown, the really disturbing side of human nature, and life's most terrifying sort of unexpected turns.
Indeed. And these aren't just tales, they're more like windows. Windows into moments where the ordinary just completely shattered, where individuals found themselves face to face with the inexplicable or the malicious or sometimes just the tragically profound. Our mission today really is to sift through these unnerving narratives. We want to pull out the core experiences and explore what they might reveal about perception, about fear, and that fragile line between the known and the utterly bewildering.
Right. So let's unpack this. Let's dive into the shadows of these true accounts.
When the veil thins, encounters with the unexplained.
Okay, let's start where the natural world seems to twist into something. Well, something unrecognizable. That's where true unease often begins. Our first accounts throw us into encounters with creatures that really defy easy explanation. Let's begin with this chilling account from Ohio, an old hunting trip, and a creature known by some as a skinwalker. So imagine being out at night, you're hunting coyotes, only to stumble upon this scene of just utter carnage. Deer bodies torn apart, heads here, legs there, and the narrator says, not for food, but for fun.
Right. That detail is key. For fun.
The narrator, just 13 at the time, and their father, they found blood everywhere, splattered on trees, grass, and what they tracked, it wasn't coyotes, wasn't wolves, it was something pale white, human-looking, but not quite right, sitting like a monkey apparently, with long fingers and claws.
An unsettling image.
And fast. Barely bled when shot, according to the story.
Yeah.
Then it savagely attacked the father. I mean, just horrific injuries, tearing off his throat, nose, eyes, scalping him, ripping off his jaw.
Unbelievable violence.
The police later, they dismissed it. Wild animal, they said. A wolf or maybe a bear.
Despite the description.
Exactly. Even though the creature's severed hand, which came off from a shotgun blast apparently, it vanished. Mysteriously disappeared from the police car, which crashed.
Vanished from a crashed police car. Okay, that adds another layer of strangeness.
And years later, the father, wanting to settle old scores, went back to those woods, and he vanished without a trace. The narrator believes he became or was taken by the same skinwalker.
This narrative, it just plunges you into this profound sense of helplessness, doesn't it? What's striking, like you said, isn't just the brutality, but that non-predatory nature. For fun, that plus the creature's appearance, its resilience, the unconvincing official story, it pushes it firmly into the unexplained category. And the vanishing hand, the father's later disappearance, it suggests something persistent, a lurking, malevolent presence.
Yeah, it's really hard to square that level of violence with any known animal. And it's not apparently an isolated kind of experience. Our next story takes us to the Ozarks. A 23-year-old encounters a creature he called a Gorp.
A Gorp?
Yeah. His father, an Ozark native, had warned him about big bears, supposedly hybrids of brown and black bears. Larger, meaner, fearless.
Local legends often try to rationalize the unknown.
Yeah, seems like it. This Gorp, though, was described as a monstrous blend of a solidor, a term that's maybe unique to the narrator's experience, sounds alien, mixed with a grizzly bear and a sloth. Long snout, angular shoulders, huge matted paws like trash can lids clumped with dirt.
Wow, quite the description.
And the smell, rot, animal musk, raw, garbage, skunk, and onion sludge, just awful.
Sensory details really paint a picture.
And despite its size, apparently impervious to .22 caliber bullets, they either made a puff of dirt and hair or just ricocheted off its skull.
Ricocheted off its skull.
Yeah. The creature seemed, quote, dumb, but its presence was absolutely terrifying.
Okay, so if we look at the bigger picture here, we're seeing a pattern, maybe. Local legends. Cryptids. Physically formidable, often grotesque, resistant to normal threats. The big bear hybrid theory, like I said, it tries to make sense of something deeply unsettling. But the Gorp's imperviousness, that raises a big question. What kind of being is so tough that bullets just bounce off? Both the Ohio Skinwalker and this Ozark Gorp, they describe encounters with something that feels ancient, primal, deeply alien to our understanding of nature. Fundamentally wrong.
I just can't imagine facing something you seemingly can't hurt. The terror, but the fear of the unknown, it really intensifies when it starts looking human. Like in this Washington State camping trip story. Started as a casual outing, turned into a complete nightmare. One friend starts acting strangely, disappears, then reappears like not 10 feet behind them.
Whoa, just appears.
Yeah, and this real bad rotten meat and spoiled milk smell shows up.
Ugh. Another sensory detail. Smell seems common in these accounts.
Later they hear weird screeching or really loud dogs yelp, followed by mad giggling.
Giggling?
That's unnerving. The lost friend, Tom, he reappears at the camp.
Yeah.
Smelling terrible, moving with weird jerk muscle spasm type things.
Yeah.
He's quiet, slow to respond, only eating meat from the MREs.
Okay, the behavior change is deeply disturbing.
Then the group finds 4 bodies in their own tent.
4 bodies?
Yeah, and Tom later tries to lure them into the woods. His voice is off-key, mixed with giggling. They saw him with a very creepy grin as they fled. The narrator's convinced this was an encounter with skinwalkers.
This story hits a different kind of horror, doesn't it? It's psychological, the terror of identity being twisted. When the threat looks like your friend,
Yeah.
the line between person and monster just dissolves. Those details, the awful smell, the giggling, the off-key voice, they create this atmosphere of just pervasive dread. You'd question your own reality. It really challenges that basic assumption that familiar faces are safe. It suggests something profoundly other can lurk just beneath a human surface.
It's truly terrifying. The idea of a friend becoming something else. And we also heard some briefer, but equally terrifying encounters. Like the guy with an AR-15 pinned under his ATV, attacked by a, quote, 9-foot-tall Gollum that had done crack with horrific breath.
Gollum that had done crack. What a description.
He was saved by a neighbor who just insisted it was a bear.
Again, the mundane explanation versus the extraordinary experience.
And then there's the college senior, a pizza delivery driver, encounters a giant with black craters for eyes, a head that bobbed unnaturally, an extremely pungent odor.
Black craters for eyes. Very unsettling imagery.
This man picks up a ringing phone from the woods, gives contradictory stories about whose phone it is, makes guttural sounds, speaks in a completely different voice.
The voice change is another recurring theme, like with Tom.
He left behind round things, later found to be quarters, surrounded by a dark liquid. It spread, smelled like copper, and there was a soft little chunk of tissue.
Tissue. And copper-smelling liquid. That's incredibly bizarre.
And a line of this fluid on the delivery driver's car suggested the man tried to open the door at a stop sign later.
Okay, these brief stories, they offer these tantalizing, terrifying glimpses, don't they? Into what might be out there. The Gollum, the giant. They align with those other accounts of physically unnatural beings, a whole spectrum of entities, maybe. And the pizza delivery story with the fluid, the contradictions, trying to get in the car. It moves from just strange to deeply unsettling. These little moments reinforce that idea. Unknown entities, some mimicking, some monstrous, all capable of causing profound primal fear.
You know, it really makes you wonder what else might be lurking out there that we just don't have a category for.
Exactly. Our perception is built on what we know, right? When something utterly new, utterly other shows up, our minds scramble. We default to known animals or just dismissal like those police reports tried to do.
The darkness within disturbing human encounters.
Okay, so while the unknown is terrifying, maybe what's even more chilling is the darkness that can exist within other humans. This is where it gets, I think, really unsettling. We're turning from the potentially supernatural to the stark reality of human malice. Imagine this. An 8-year-old kid, ushered upstairs during Thanksgiving dinner to watch movies, completely unaware that downstairs their parents and aunt and uncle are armed, confronting a violent man who just showed up with a gun and 2 gallons of gas in his trunk.
2 gallons of gas.
Yeah, intending to burn the house down after he'd shot us all.
Oh my goodness.
This was the aunt's abusive ex-husband. He ended up in prison. But the narrator, now 30 years later, lives with the fear that he might come back.
That account really reveals a profound truth, doesn't it? About the protective instinct. The lengths people go to shield innocence from these truly ugly realities. The parents acting so fast, removing the kid while facing this immediate deadly threat. It speaks volumes. But it does raise a question for us, how do you balance that need for protection with the eventual need for kids to understand that threats exist, even within their own family circle?
It's a difficult balance, and that theme of hidden danger within trusted circles, it continues. Thanksgiving 2005, the story of Uncle Tony. A 15-year-old really admired his cool uncle, only to witness him brutally beating his girlfriend in a garage.
Oh, terrible. To witness that.
And the chilling details his mother revealed later. The girlfriend hadn't screamed.
Why?
Because she learned that if she did, he'd only hit her harder.
Ugh, that's heartbreaking. Learn silence.
The parents had apparently shielded the narrator for a long time from the uncle's true nature, his drug problems, petty crimes, the abuse, trying to allow some relationship while hiding this awful truth.
That story gives us this heartbreaking look at the insidious nature of domestic violence and the devastating ripple effect of family secrets. That girlfriend's learned silence. It's such a powerful, tragic detail. It really illuminates the depth of the abuse, the psychological toll. It forces you to confront the facades people wear. And the trauma of realizing someone you look up to is capable of such cruelty. It really challenges your assumptions about people and the impossible choices families sometimes feel forced to make.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine being in that position as a parent. Truth versus protection. But the threat isn't always from family, of course. Take this young female property manager. Working alone, high crime area, faces a mentally unstable homeless man. He comes to her desk, throws women's lingerie on it.
Lingerie, okay.
Tries to put an SD card into her computer. Then, when she asks him to leave, he pulls a knife.
Pulls a knife right there in the office.
She screams, a coworker helps, they eventually guide him out. Police detain him, find the knife, but then release him without bail.
Despite the knife, despite the aggressive behavior.
Yep. Even though a protection order was granted later, he missed his court date, warrant issued, and this echoes another story, a diner worker frequently encountered a mentally unstable homeless man yelling, "Hey, come here," from a nearby field, flashing something that might have been a weapon, threatened to cook directly. "I'll end your life next time I see you."
Direct threats.
Police knew he carried a knife, but apparently claimed there wasn't anything they could do.
These accounts really highlight that pervasive sense of helplessness, of vulnerability, when you're faced with unpredictable behavior, especially where mental health issues and potential violence intersect. What really stands out is the perceived inaction, or maybe the inability of authorities to effectively intervene. Even with clear threats, weapons involved, it forces you to confront the limits of our safety nets and how critical personal vigilance and maybe intuition become when formal protection seems to fail.
Absolutely. That feeling of being on your own against a direct threat, it's deeply unsettling. And there are other unsettling encounters too. A grocery store shopper felt stalked, a man repeatedly staring, following her through aisles without buying anything, then just wandering the parking lot aimlessly.
That creeping feeling of being watched, targeted.
Another one, a 16-year-old girl, firmly grabbed by a homeless woman. After listening to the woman's tragic life story for 2 hours, the woman tries to drag her into a dark lane for a return gift.
A return gift? That sounds ominous. Thank goodness she got away.
Then there's the neighbor. At night, lets himself and his aggressive dog into a fenced yard, bangs on a glass sliding door. When confronted, just says, "I don't know." Later, he's caught staring from his balcony into the narrator's window, wearing a black face covering.
Okay, that's just straight up creepy and threatening behavior.
And finally, this really disturbing detail. Claw marks leading to a ceiling hatch in a department store break room. They suspected a homeless person had been hiding up there.
Claw marks, hiding in the ceiling. Wow. These stories, they're varied, but together they paint this picture of unease, don't they? The breakdown of safety in everyday places. They really underscore the power of gut feelings. That primal instinct yelling something is wrong. They make you question intentions behind seemingly normal interactions and how public spaces can harbor hidden dangers or people with alarming intent. It leaves the victims with this lasting sense of vulnerability, this need for constant awareness. It's like your everyday world suddenly feels porous.
Porous, that's a great word for it. Yeah, a reminder that not all monsters have fangs and claws, right?
Life interrupted, unforeseen tragedies and profound shifts.
You know, sometimes the most horrifying moments, they aren't about monsters or malicious strangers at all. They're about the sheer fragility, the unpredictability of life itself. Consider this story. Someone recovering from addiction, staying at a remote cabin, witnesses a man commit suicide by jumping off a high iron bridge.
Oh, wow. To witness that.
And the graphic detail. He survived the fall, dozens of bones broken. But he was awake and feeling everything, trying to scream but only making a croaking noise like a big bullfrog, before dying there in agony.
That is incredibly difficult to even imagine witnessing. But this narrative, tragic as it is, it offers this profound insight into reevaluating life, doesn't it? Witnessing such a gruesome, agonizing death for this person, it became this chilling catalyst. It affirmed their own choice to live. It really raises the question of how profound trauma, while horrific, can sometimes serve as a painful but vital turning point. solidifying your will to survive, find purpose, even leading to feeling haunted by the dead, the ghosts inside their head, as the account mentions. It's a brutal reminder of that thin line.
And an 11-year-old child experienced a similar shattering of innocence. Thanksgiving 2007. Walking with his father by a fast-flowing river, his dad slips on a rock, falls in, swept away instantly.
Oh no.
The true horror for the child, he says, was the flash of his jacket that I saw floating in the water and how quickly the current was dragging his unconscious body downstream.
Just helplessness, watching it happen.
The lifelong grief, the indelible memory, he says he would happily swap for 1,000 nightly visits from Freddy Krueger. It just shows the enduring pain of sudden, unpreventable loss.
This account really emphasizes that horror isn't always about malice, is it? It can be found in the sudden, irreversible cruelty of just circumstance. The child's perspective, that vivid, painful memory of helplessness, the dawning realization of loss, it highlights the profound, lasting impact these events have on our inner landscape. It's a stark reminder that true terror can just emerge from the simplest everyday activities, disrupting lives forever, leaving that indelible mark. It's the horror of absence.
The horror of absence, that's incredibly apt. Wow. And finally, this shocking story. A brother-in-law's sudden death, Thanksgiving 2009. Started as just an ear fluid issue, but it escalated rapidly. Within 11 hours of feeling ill, he was trembling, sweating, breathing erratically. Bright green snot fluid in his lungs.
11 hours. For feeling a bit off to that.
Yeah. Despite CPR efforts, a truly horrifying amount of blood started coming out of his mouth and nose. His eye didn't focus. Bowel evacuation. Then he passed away.
Just unbelievably fast deterioration.
The diagnosis later, a perfect storm of issues. Streptococcus pneumonia, meningitis, lung and ear infections, enlarged heart, and septic shock. All at once.
A perfect storm indeed. Just devastating. This narrative is just a stark, urgent warning, isn't it, about how fragile life is, and the terrifying speed with which seemingly minor symptoms can become fatal. The graphic details, disturbing as they are, they really serve to underscore that critical advice. Go to the doctor if you feel even remotely sick. It challenges that tendency we sometimes have, just tough it out. Stresses that just 1 second with those you love is more valuable than any dollar amount. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound horror isn't supernatural. It's the rapid, merciless progression of a very real physical illness.
It certainly puts things into perspective, doesn't it? These accounts really emphasize that life can just change in an instant.
Absolutely. The takeaway for you listening is that constant underlying fragility. Outro.
Wow. What a journey through the unnerving that was. We've explored that thin veil between our reality and creatures like the Skinwalker or the Gorp. We've delved into the chilling depths of human malice, hidden abusers, overt predators. And we've confronted the raw, unyielding face of tragedy and moments of sudden loss and illness. These stories, they're all different, but they're united by how they pull back the curtain on the unexpected. They leave us questioning the world around us.
Indeed they do. Each account really serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly our sense of safety, our understanding, can be completely challenged. What's compelling, I think, is how often intuition seemed to play a role, signaling danger before it became fully obvious. And this raises an important question for you listening out there. In a world where the truly unsettling can emerge from so many different corners, the woods, our own homes, the unknown, the all too human, how do we cultivate both a healthy skepticism and keen awareness? How do we navigate life with both open minds and, well, cautious hearts?
Powerful thoughts to mull over. Definitely. We really hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating and often surprising world around us.